Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well this morning. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link in the description to that, and also at the top of the chat. Like I said, free to join. You can chat with other traders, including myself. I share ideas there. You can join discussions. Of course, you can find out a lot more information about Elevating Traders as well. So check it out if you're interested. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back. Hope everyone's well this Tuesday morning. As always, guys, I'll go through some requests, but I'll go through some DXY and USD pair side of things. Also take a look at gold and silver. So I'll run through those pairs quickly. But good morning, everyone. Raphael, yes, we will go through some CAD pairs afterwards. Moyo, what is up? Pound yen, we'll take a look as well. Emmanuel, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. CS Integrated, what is up? Welcome. For some nice longs after long bleeding. Yeah, we have seen a lot of downside for the DXY, really big push. I was hoping price would go a little bit higher for the dollar this week before shorting, but it had a really big sell-off Monday there. Dark Sean, hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Yesterday was fun to trade. All 25 pips gained in the morning. Okay, nice. Reverted in the afternoon. It was fun to watch and trade. Okay, nice. Today I'm expecting push into 191 level. Another liquidity. Okay, we'll take a look. Yeah, pound yen was all over the place. It was a big push up. Then we had a really big sell. Afterwards, of course, a lot of the yen pairs did the same thing. We will go through them shortly. Follow the trend. What is up? Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Have a pitfall day. I like that. Right back at you. What is up, LFTJ? Hope you are well. So yeah, I'll go through the DXY side of things, and then we'll go through some of the CAD pairs. Pound yen requested a couple times, so we'll go through that as well. And of course, any other requests, let me know, and any particular time frames, let me know as well. But yeah, dollar had a really big sell the past kind of 24 hours, big push to the downside. I was hoping for a little bit more upside before seeing that move. I was talking about this zone here. 108, 108.2 was kind of my area of interest. Again, the plan was this week to find another lower high. We had one over there, second over there, and pretty much just looking for a third for another push back into support, which we're already at that support level. So we've kind of completed that task really. Now it's up to the dollar whether it wants to break or hold. I'm still pretty bearish on the USD, so I'm still looking for downside. However, of course, that support, now's not the time to be anticipating shorts. Even if price is going to break through, we'll wait for it to do that. We do have support just below us. I wonder if we can go and test 105.5. But yes, we have some strong support. We could definitely bounce from here and see some more upside, but I'm not really interested in the longs just yet. For the dollar, of course, on a short-term basis, there could be some nice intraday trades there to take DXY to the upside if we do successfully bounce from that support. But in terms of the main swings of the market, we've broken out of this bullish trend, so I haven't really been focusing on this trend for a while. As we have been putting in lower highs and lower lows, this is the structure I'm kind of looking to follow. So high, low, lower high, lower low. Looks like potentially a lower high there as well. And potentially might see some more downside too. So this is the structure I'm looking to follow. Hence why I'm still bearish, still expecting more downside until I see a strong reaction, possibly a double bottom here and a break to the upside. That might make me rethink my bias. But until I see something like that, I'm still pretty much bearish, or at least looking for opportunities that favor USD weakness on the USD major pair. So that's very much my take on the dollar. Again, the trade idea for the week is kind of played out already with this pullback and that push. So now I'm just waiting to see what the next move is. Do we bounce at support? Do we hold, or do we break through? We'll find out probably in the next 24 hours. But for now, I'm just going to see what we do at that support level. So taking a look at Euro USD. This one, of course, pretty much the exact opposite in terms of the dollar. So, of course, with USD being very weak, that will help Euro USD push into the upside. And again, the bias this week was for a swing to the upside. I was looking at this area of confluence here for Euro. Had a nice brief range there, strong push to the upside. So looking for price to come back and retest that, as well as the trend line there as well. And of course, a similar situation to what we have in the dollar. We've got these higher lows, 1, 2, 3, of course, kind of an equal high there. Looking for the next higher low for another swing to the upside. So that was the plan. For euro, unfortunately, doesn't look like we'll see that move. Looks like the market has just formed that higher low a little bit higher than expected, and now we're back at resistance. So again, it's make or break for euro USD. Do we respect this level or do we break through? I'm kind of expecting price to break through this level. Likewise, I'm expecting dollar to break through support. However, again, we'll believe it when we see it, because we could still respect that and come back down. And just because I'm expecting level to break doesn't mean I should buy into the level. At the end of the day, it's still resistance. So I'm expecting more upside there for euro. Again, I'm looking at this kind of bowl shape pattern. It's not the clearest one you'll ever see, but so we've gone from a pretty strong bearish trend in market to forming some equal lows and now steadily forming some higher lows. And typically we do see normally price break in the opposite direction. So I do expect more upside for euro, more downside for the dollar. That's still my swing bias. Again, in terms of actually trading that, unless we have another big retracement back into this area or price has a strong break of resistance, then we can look for some retest above. Yeah, that's the only way I can see solid opportunities possibly forming. Right now, lovely move to the upside past 24 hours, but again, didn't quite come into my area, so wasn't able to capitalize on that. And now we're back at resistance, so there's nothing for me to do. So wait and see if we can get the break, and if we do, perhaps there could be some nice pullbacks. It's been a solid level of resistance. In fairness, we respected it once, twice, a third time, and now we're testing it a fourth. So it's been a really pivotal level of resistance. So should we see a healthy break, it could act as some really nice support and perhaps take us on another bullish leg. So that's something I'll look at. This opportunity is still valid if price does get back down there. Still interested, but like I said, we're neither here nor there. So just wait and see what we do next for euro. Pound USD likewise as well. This one, again, I said I was looking at a retest of this area with the trend line. We had a lovely level at 1.25, so solid support previously once, twice over there, resistance a couple times over there as well. So again, the plan this week was hopefully a bit more downside, test this area, find the next higher low, just like we've been doing for the past few weeks here, and get some buys in around that area, hopefully take it back into the high, and hopefully maybe even 1.28 up there as well if we were very bullish. And pound USD has kind of seen that higher low already form, and we've already taken out these highs as well. So again, we've kind of done that job. This is still a nice area of confluence. So should we see another retracement there, I would still be interested to take the buys. It's still a nice area where support and a trend line has met to create some really strong confluence. And judging on the momentum as well, things still look good. So I'm still pretty bullish for pound, but again, likewise, there's just no opportunity right now. Same with euro. We're approaching resistance, trying to break through resistance. Not the best time to be buying the market, at least if you're looking at the time frames I'm looking at. I understand intraday you can find small opportunities, but on the 4-hour chart, the train has definitely left the station here. So it's either we get a bigger pullback or maybe we might see a bigger break and retest potentially. Again, very hypothetical. We have to wait to see what we get. But that's still an area of confluence. It's still valid. So I'll see if price gets there, but might have missed the boat on that one for pound USD. Dollar CAD, I have hopped into some sells for this one. This one actually did set up pretty nicely. I've been eyeing up dollar CAD for a while, ever since we got that kind of deeper retracement. I've been keeping a close eye on it. The retracement has been pretty impulsive, so I have been very cautious about jumping into shorts, because most of the time I want to see my pullbacks be very corrective, very slow, grindy. Those tend to give really nice continuations, because the fact that the market is spending a lot of time trying to push higher, doing it very correctively, is a strong sign that the buyers aren't really pushing price successfully to the upside. Hence, you expect to move back down. If it's impulsive, that's where it gets a bit shaky, because it might actually be a reversal. And this was pretty impulsive. So I've been waiting to find a good opportunity to short it. Originally, I was looking at this area here. Didn't really provide much resistance, to be honest, and the price broke through. And then we're just kind of floating just underneath that level. I was looking to short from 1.45. This is the area I mentioned yesterday. And I said I wanted to see one more push to the upside, which we did get. CAD was very, very weak yesterday as well. So a lot of the cap pairs have been flying. Dollar CAD likewise as well. But it's really struggled to break through that resistance there, 1.45. Solid rejection. I like the wicks to the upside. And now we're back at that resistance, which price basically had that manipulation to the upside. So solid resistance, big fake out with the gap, and then we came crashing back down. And now we're coming back to retest. So if we can hold that as resistance, I'm looking for a lower high to form and a continuation back into the prior lows. Nothing crazy. Risk to reward in this one just about 1 to 2, which is still very good, but nothing where I'm looking to hold for a big move. If we can make sure we can see that, there we go. So you can see a relatively healthy pullback as well with the fib confluence there too. So I'm going to see how well we move, because if USD is reversing, then dollar CAD could see a really big move. But then again, I'm still kind of paying respect to the trend here, which is still very bullish. So I don't want to have insane targets with this one, just in case the trend still wants to continue. But I've hopped into the trade on that bearish candle, stop loss above the high, and targets back at the low. We're going to see how that gets on. Aussie dollar, this one as well has been more impulsive than dollar CAD. Really strong move to the downside with this one. I said I was expecting some corrections and further downside, which we kind of got yesterday. We did see a bit of upside and a really strong sell, but price is still finding support here. Again, I'm not in love with Aussie dollar. I still like the buys for this one, but I would have to at least get back down to this level, 0.612, before I consider buying. Originally, like I said, I was focused on this range for the buy, but we broke through with ease pretty much. So, and completely invalidated that area. So that's no longer an area of interest for me. The only level that makes sense will be back down at support here, because we respected this very well. And there's a good chance we could bounce again. There is a chance we could form a higher low here, but I don't really have much confidence to go off from. So it wouldn't be a trade for myself to take. So for now, this is kind of the best I've got here with Aussie dollar. Effectively, it's a bit of a ranging market anyway. So buying as low as possible is normally a good idea. Likewise with New Zealand dollar as well, we've got some major support just below us. The market has been very, very choppy, had a very impulsive move to the downside last week. I still wouldn't be surprised if we're still correcting ourselves for potentially another short as well. So still kind of keeping a close eye on that. But in terms of the longs, this is the only place that makes sense. Right back at the lows, you can get a solid stop loss. And even if you do see a full swing, a pretty decent risk reward as well, if you're looking to shoot it back to the highs. But again, where we're trading, I understand we've got some support to the left, but nothing significant. So I'm staying away from New Zealand dollar for now. We'll see what we can get back at the low at 0.554. Over to gold, I'm pretty sure this one was looking a little bit, very, very bullish move. I said I was looking to see what we can do here in terms of the shorts. Price did get there, but just impulsively broke through with fees there. So not much indication of price selling off at all, to be honest. And with gold, I'll be a little bit careful with this one, because like I said, it looks like price is potentially forming a bit of a top to retrace at least. However, the market conditions are still very, very bullish in the higher time frame. So if this one wants to shoot to the upside and just continue the trend, you need to be prepared to kind of move out of the way and let gold do what it wants to do, because it can still very much fly. So with this candle here, it does look like price is forming a bit of a V-shaped pattern here, which is more of an indication of a bullish move rather than price suddenly selling off. Now, we are coming back to retest the range here on the left, so this is definitely coming back into some interesting resistance. But like I said, with the way we impulsively push the upside, it does look like price is forming this V-shaped pattern, which for me is more of an indication of more upside. So I actually think some lower time frame buys do actually look pretty good. If I was to drop maybe to like the 15-minute chart, a bit of a correction into this area, I think that would be a nice place for a buy actually for gold. If you could see that happen maybe in a day or two, that could actually represent some nice buys, at least back to where we came from, possibly further as well. But very, very impulsive reaction. If it was a slower move to the upside, then I could speak about the shorts a little bit more. But very aggressive move, V-shaped characteristics, which again typically mean a lot more upside to come. So I think some lower time frame corrections actually look pretty good here. Shorts, I would kind of back away right now. If this was a bearish market as a whole, I probably would still be interested coming back into this range since it had such a strong move down. But because gold is gold and it's still relatively bullish overall, I would always be careful going counter trend with this one, especially in these circumstances. And silver, I'm still looking to short silver in fairness. This one hasn't been as bullish as gold, but I am still looking for a deeper correction. I'm looking for price to come back and retest this range here, where we found support not long ago, so around 32, 32.2. I'm looking to see what we can do in this area. If rejection looks good, if I see the right confirmations, looking to short it and perhaps even a big swing back to the lows here. Again, the main idea with silver is that we're still respecting major resistance on the daily chart, which is this big old level, which we tried to break through but failed to do so as well. So as long as we stay below that, looking for a sell. If price suddenly breaks above, okay, I'm bullish again and looking for a push back to the swing high up there at 34.835. So that's a very pivotal level. Break above it, I'm bullish. Hold below, I'm bearish. And for now, we're still below it, so I am pretty bearish. So let's look to see what we can do around the 32.2 area. And if things look good, I'll take some shorts. If we just break straight through and do what gold's doing, then of course I will back away. But that is kind of where I'm at with the USD side of things. Still seeing some interesting opportunities. Where was I? What's up, Ahmed? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What's up, Sultani? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well. Lighten, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. For the trend, possible reversal for New Zealand yen. Push down 700 pips. I mean, technical wise, we can expect a bounce and a good area to buy. Okay, I see what you mean. The market has had a very big move to the downside. New Zealand yen is pretty stretched, so we probably will see some retracement. In fairness, I'm actually hoping we do see some retracement because I'm still looking to short it, but I do want price to push away first, find another low high before I do take some shorts. But I will go through that one for you. I will go through some of the CAD pairs first because that was requested earlier, and then I'll take a look at pound yen as well, and we'll go through New Zealand yen too. LFTJ, we'll check out Euro Aussie for you, no problem. Alfonso, pound CHF, yes, we'll have a look as well. Soltani, dollar yen as well, we'll take a look, no problem. So yeah, so in terms of the CAD pairs, again, CAD pairs have been flying to the upside. CAD has been insanely weak. So Euro CAD, really big move. Pound CAD, very big move. Not so much for Aussie CAD or New Zealand CAD. So pound CAD, big move to the upside. Looking at Aussie CAD, this one is a fairly nice reaction, but of course nothing crazy. And New Zealand CAD as well, fairly nice reaction, but nothing too crazy. I'm still pretty bearish on both of these currency pairs. Still looking for a push back to the lows there for New Zealand CAD, and likewise with Aussie CAD as well. Still looking at push back into the lows down here. Still looking at this bearish trend continuing. However, from Euro CAD and Pound CAD, these guys have been exceptionally bullish. I think Pound CAD's had a really big breakout. Euro CAD likewise as well, but still kind of testing resistance. If I go to the daily chart, you can see we're still very much in this kind of area of resistance. Price has tested it multiple times, and we're back there again. So in terms of shorts, it makes sense. Prices are at a very big level in terms of how the market's moving. It's kind of like a very, very slight uptrend. You could easily class this as a range, but you can see there's a slight uptrend to the market. We are slightly making higher highs and higher lows, but nonetheless, it's still a really nice place for a short. Again, you don't have to look for necessarily a massive swing for it to be a profitable trade. Even a short back to this area, I would say, makes a lot of sense, and that way you can be a little bit safer with your trade as well, just in case we do have that breakout. But yeah, I'm not really interested, to be honest, with any other CAD pairs apart from dollar CAD, which is the one I'm trading. Just because there is no kind of clean trade or clean setup. Euro CAD, yes, back at major resistance. It's not really pro trend or with momentum. So if you're looking to trade that, you're more looking to trade a reaction rather than a continuation of a move, which is really what my focus is when I'm trading. I'm always looking for a pullback to continue momentum. Rather than just try and catch reaction from areas that could give us a reaction, which is kind of what we've got here with Euro CAD. Pound CAD has had a nice move, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it's come back into a pretty big daily level, or weekly actually. Yeah, back into this high here on the left. If I go to the weekly chart, you'll see that better. So as we can see, massive resistance on the left there, and we've just about spiked into this area. So with pound CAD, it's a bit awkward because it's a nice breakout, but I wouldn't really want to be looking to follow the breakout just because of where we are. Again, it's broken out of a really nice level on the 4-hour daily chart. So I do think if price was to come back and revisit this, probably could get a nice bounce. But because of where we're coming from, I would be careful about how far we take it. If you can get a push back to highs, I think that's a great trade. Anything further, you're asking for a bit of trouble just in case we decide to reverse from there. But yeah, pound CAD's has hit a big target, big level on the weekly chart. This could give us some downside, which again could lead into some nice buys. But I wouldn't try and take it further than the high there because, like I said, we could actually have a major reversal here from pound CAD. But that's still a solid level of resistance, which price has finally broken through. And I would imagine a retest could provide some nice opportunity. So 1.815 still looks like a nice buy. You could be looking trying to short it back down there. I think it's still a bit of an aggressive trade because momentum is definitely up against you, but you can get a relatively safe stop loss above the high. And again, just because the trade is a bit more aggressive doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad trade. It's just an aggressive position. So as long as you can understand that, it's fine to take an aggressive trade from now and then. But yeah, pound CAD, I like the buys from 1.815 back to the high there. We'll see how that forms over the next few days, but keeping a very close eye on that level there at 1.84. You very well could reverse from there. Pound CAD has been bullish for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if we do come back down now. So yeah, other CAD pairs not really interested, but they have hit some big levels. So pound CAD's hit a big level, Euro CAD's hit a big level where we could turn around. Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, I'm bearish on them anyway. And then of course dollar CAD, I'm pretty bearish on that one as well, expecting more downside too. Let's take a look at pound yen. So yeah, pound yen was a bit all over the place yesterday. We were very bullish at one point, and then price was very bearish again, and we shot back down. So this is the 5-minute chart. That is a huge move there. Price just was not messing around. But then funny thing is we came straight back down again, and now we're looking a little bit bearish actually, because the way price has moved here resembles a bit of a massive fake out really. Again, when we see an impulse in the market, if we're looking to continue that impulse, you want to see a corrective move afterwards. So you see a strong move and you see a slower corrective move in the opposite direction. That implies a pullback for more upside most of the time. What you don't want to see is an impulsive move and then an impulsive move back down. That typically means that we're probably going to reverse here. The market tried to go bullish, but completely failed. So we probably will see a move in the opposite direction. And that's kind of what we got here with pound yen. A very strong move here. If we had a slower corrective move, this could be a pullback for price to push on. But we came back really hard. We had one drop, price went sideways, and had another big drop. And it looks like price is kind of holding on to some resistance on the left here. Well, not quite. But I would favor more downside here for pound yen. Kind of likewise what we got here. Really strong down move there, followed by a strong up move that kind of give us the V-shaped pattern for reversal. And what happened? Price consolidated and continued higher. Looks like we'll probably do that in the opposite direction, back down to these lows and maybe further as well. So pound yen in the 5-minute is looking pretty bearish. In terms of opportunities, it would be nice if price can push back up into the highs again. That would be a nice place for a trade because you can get a relatively safe stop loss above the highs there, and potentially target the lows here, which is still very strong support. But if you're feeling a little bit greedier, a bit more confident, then you've got some lows there to target as well, which I think there's a good chance we get to as well. So yeah, very strong push to the upside, very strong move back down. We've got some solid resistance above us. If we were to push up there, of course, it's a big if because we very well could just fall right now. But if we were to push back up there, I think that'll be a solid place for some entries, stop loss above the high, and you're probably looking at a decent little trade there back to the lows. But yeah, on the 4-hour chart, it's still very messy, to be honest. So 4-hour chart, I'm not really interested with pound yen. Again, I'm looking for a lot more downside with this one, but we've got that kind of support, that brick wall below us, which we do need to crack through. Lower time frames, you probably will see the move back into the low, but do we then break support or do we bounce again? I don't know. So in terms of what I'm looking at for pound yen on the higher time frames, it's still very much a swing back into the lows here at 180. That's still the direction I'm looking for price to trade in. Also, what was very interesting as well is I pointed out yesterday briefly that on the daily chart, we had numerous wicks to the upside in these daily candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the current daily candle yesterday was very bullish. I believe it was probably trading around here, probably around 191. I said it would be interesting to see how the daily candle closes today, because if we leave another wick to the upside, especially with it being so such a big wick, um, that then again adds to the potential that this is a bit of a fake to the upside, and now we're going to get some follow through. If we did get a solid close to the upside, then I would be expecting a lot more upside, probably a much bigger move as well. We got 193, probably 194 up there. I would be looking at price getting to, but the fact that we came back down just before the daily candle closed, leaving us a big wick again, does buy into the idea that we probably are going to have a bit of a sell here. But again, the key thing is support, because I need that to kind of clear first before I get the green light to trade it. But yeah, that is really what I'm looking at, and a push back down to the lows there. So staying patient, but I know I'm still very much bearish on the 4-hour chart and the higher time frame. So I know which direction I want to trade in. It's just about waiting for an opportunity. So we'll see how that gets going. Okay, where was I? Okay, so I'll go through Euro Aussie next. If I do miss out a pair, just let me know. Actually, no, I'll go through New Zealand yen next for follow the trend. I'll take a look at Euro Aussie, Pound CHF, and Dollar Yen as well. What's up, Philip? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing well. Hope you are doing good. Going to request for your bias on a very odd crypto pair. Okay. MKR USDT 4-hour and Gross USDT. Dabbled into the crypto future, and it has been interesting, profitable. Okay, nice. I will go take a look for you. We do not discriminate against the markets we look at. Again, that's the beauty of technical analysis. It can be used anywhere on whichever market, because the basis of technical analysis is studying patterns of price and how people interpret price and how they react to it. So whatever market you're looking at, you can still use technical analysis. Although I would mention that the more participants you have in the market, the more volume, the more money involved, the better and the more pure the price action would be. The less volume, the less participants, the more erratic behavior. But you can still use technical analysis. You just have to be a bit more precise and a bit more patient. But you will see a bit more erratic behavior, of course. But yeah, we'll take a look at it as well. Let me just go through New Zealand yen. Follow the trend has got a trade. No, asking for a trade idea. So I think I understand where you're coming from. You're looking for a push to the upside because, number one, the market's been bearish for quite a while, and you're expecting a bit of a bounce, and we're coming to an area where it would make sense for a bounce. And I would agree. Market has been bearish for quite a while. It is definitely due a bounce to the upside. And personally, I'm looking for that bounce because I want to keep shorting this one. Yesterday, I mentioned this kind of trendline area. Lovely support here as well. I was looking for price to have a bit of a correction, come back and test that area, and possibly get the next leg to the downside. So that's really the opportunity I am focused on for New Zealand yen. And again, expecting these wick lows to be taken out, which we're very, very close to right now. So if you do see a bounce, that's great for me because I want to keep shorting it. However, I'm not looking to buy the bounce because I'm very bearish. I'm expecting a lot more downside. I'm actually expecting a lot more downside past this point. This is just the next major target for me. I'm looking at these areas really, and a lot further too. But yeah, we could still take a while to get there, so no point really discussing too much about them just yet. So you said possible reversal at 83.3, which is just underneath where we're trading right now. Last time price pushed about 700 pips from, technical wise, we could expect to bounce. A good area to buy. Yeah, I do agree. It's a good area to buy. We're coming back into major support. However, again, my instinct is always looking to follow momentum and follow a trend. Of course, not directly into support if that's the case. Hence why I want to see a bit of a move to the upside, kind of get away from that 83 area, push closer to 85.5 before I do short. So yes, it's a nice place for a bounce. I'm just expecting it to break through, and I'm expecting basically the reversal of this bullish trend that we saw for the past couple of years. I'm expecting to see a bit of a bearish trend form. So yes, we could bounce. That's all I can really say on it, because I'm expecting it to break. But yes, we could bounce. I don't have a crystal ball to tell what's going to happen. All I can say is that there is good merit there for the buy, because coming to solid support, price is a bit overextended. Last time we were here, we had a really big bounce. Perhaps we could do that again. But I am looking at the continuation of that trend, and I'm expecting those lows to be taken out. So that's all I'm going to be waiting for myself. But I do hope we do see some retracement, because that will allow me to actually take a trade. In terms of Euro Aussie, this one, yeah, really, really big break to the upside. Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie, Euro NZD, those currency pairs have been absolutely flying. And we're almost back at resistance here, 1.7. I mentioned yesterday that if price is breaking through this area, which looked like it was, but we needed to see that daily kind of close to really confirm things, which we did end up seeing. It's probably going to take us back into this level here at 1.7, major resistance up there. Market has been incredibly flat for a while. We've just been bouncing between multiple levels here. So if we break one, we're just perhaps going to go to the next one, and that's exactly what Euro Aussie is doing now. 1.7 is another big level, and looks like we're pushing towards that area. What would be nice for Euro Aussie is that before we test 1.7, the market decides it wants to have a bit of a pullback, because that could provide a nice opportunity to find a nice break and retest, and then ride that move back to the next level. So Euro Aussie, I'm still pretty bullish on, at least till we get back to 1.7. It's a big range, so perhaps we come right back down from that area. That could still very much be the case. But for now, that's a really impressive bullish move. Real intent with that move, really strong bullish move. So the likeliness of us continuing that direction is pretty high. We just need to see a healthy correction to find some entries and follow that trend, and a retest of the high there would definitely do that job. But yeah, still expecting a bit more upside to 1.7. Let's see if we can get a correction. I'll even keep an eye on the retest of the highs down the 4-hour time frame as well, just above us around 1.68. But if we can get a pullback into these areas, that's kind of where you'll be looking for some buys. Okay, so I'll go through Pound CHF next. I'll go through Pound CHF, and then I'll take a look at the cryptocurrencies, and then I'll go through the yen pairs together. So Pound CHF, with this one, again, the CHF pairs have been pretty bearish. A nice move to the downside with Pound CHF as well. Again, I'm still looking at that longer term move back to the low, but it's just been so corrective. So I'm kind of just seeing how we develop here. Every time we've seen a move to the downside, it's just ended up in failure. But overall, my plan, like the yen pairs, to be honest, is the continuation of that bearish move in July. You know, when we had that big drop on the yen pairs in July last year, we had that same drop on the yen pairs as well. And my plan has been, since that drop has happened, has been looking to try and find the pullback of that for another move down. And the fact that Pound CHF is still so corrective does tell me that this is probably still a correction for us to keep falling. It's just been a bit of a pain to try and catch that lower high. So I'm kind of waiting for us to break out of this noise, clear support, and then hopefully try and find some pullbacks whilst we're outside of that mess. And perhaps break and retest will do, and I can ride it back to the lows there. But that's still my bias there for Pound CHF. You said you've got a position on Pound CHF. I assume you're probably shorting the highs there, which would be a good idea, because we've just been bouncing at the high continuously. So coming back into the high would be a nice page for a short. Where we pound CHF 1.13368. 1.133. Okay, your entries around there. Stop loss 1.14333. Okay, so above the high here. I do like that. And target 1.12403. Okay, 1, 2. So roughly there. So probably looking at maybe a 1-to-1 into that target. So yeah, I do like the trade actually. I do actually like the trade a lot, to be honest, because you're still following the direction of that drop on the left there. Of course, it's a long time ago, but it does play a part because that's where the last impulsive move is. And now that we're correctively moving to the upside, you expect to see heavy sells at some point. So in the direction of that move, which I like, and of course, you're taking a trade right at the high of this kind of weird range that we've got right now. It's not your typical range because we've kind of been breaking the highs a little bit. If I draw it horizontally, prices kind of been breaking the highs a little bit, but more or less we've been holding on to resistance. So you're taking an entry and you're placing a stop loss in a very, very safe place. And targets are pretty realistic as well, not looking for anything too crazy. Looks like your target's more or less around the midpoint in the range there. So as long as we can respect the height of the resistance, there's a pretty good chance we do get to your target and do fulfill that move there. So yeah, I definitely can't complain about that move. Nice position, nice place for an entry, very nice stop loss as well. Targets in a reasonable place. Um, yeah, I do like the trade, and price, of course, is rejecting the high pretty well too. And it looks like CHF at the moment is pretty strong as well. So, yeah, I like the trade. I do like the trade. Not looking for anything crazy, and it fits the conditions of how price is moving. We've just been respecting the high on numerous occasions. As long as that stays true, there's a good chance we do go and hit your target there. So, I do like that. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these cryptocurrencies then. Um, KR, not RK. KR USDT. Alrighty then. So where are we? Okay, it's not looking too good, I must admit. It's not looking too good because we had, of course, the all-time high there. Big push down. Looks like we made another major high. And since then, we've just been printing lower high after lower high, which isn't particularly great. So yeah, and with this high now, I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up pushing right back into lows. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is looking particularly great right now, at least in terms of the buys. Of course, if you're selling, it's actually a nice place for a sell there. But to me, it looks like we're probably coming right back down to the lows here at 881. Um, yeah, actually, a nice short would be potentially if we were to push back to the high there, maybe form a bit of a double top. That would be a nice place for an entry. Stops above the high and shorting back into the low there. But yeah, based on how price is moving, very, very consistent lower highs. Structure actually looks pretty good. It's just it doesn't look like we're about to see a bullish move anytime soon. Of course, the thing with cryptocurrencies, especially the smaller ones, anything can happen at any time. You could just suddenly shoot to the moon. But if we're going to continue the bearish structure, then I'm expecting us to push back to the lows there. So that would be a nice place for an entry if you're not already short from the high there. In terms of the buys, not looking great. Not looking great right now. Wouldn't even be surprised if we eventually make a low. We go back and retest that low around 500. And Gross USDT. Let's have a look. See. Ooh. So with this one, not a lot of data to work with. Again, that's another one on the bad side of things as well, is that sometimes you don't have a lot of data to work with, which doesn't really bid well for traders who rely on technical analysis, because in general, the more data you have, the better, because the more information you have, the more historic data you can see what price has done previously, how it's reacted on certain things and certain patterns, and you can use that to help your analysis in the future. If you don't have that much data, then you're a bit more blind going forward. So technical analysis doesn't have as big of a say in the price action. But with this one, again, I would be a bit worried too. We are kind of really struggling at the highs here, and since then, market's been printing lower highs as well, and we're kind of coming into another area where I wouldn't be surprised if another lower high does form and we try and push back into support, really. So yeah, I wouldn't be very bullish on this one either, to be honest. I would be pretty short bias as well. Another push back to highs would be a nice place for an entry. And again, doesn't have to look for the full swing, but push back to these areas makes sense. But I would expect us to see a push to the low there. So not looking great, I have to admit. Not looking great for both of them. Okay, so I'll go through the yen pairs now. Dollar yen, euro yen. And then I'll take a look at USD RUB for Lighten. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you're well. No problem. Sultani, happy to help. Ferragams, I'm doing good. Hope you are well. If I was, how did you stop blowing accounts, or how many years it took you to be profitable? Yeah, in terms of blowing accounts, to be honest, I actually never really did blow an account. I've lost a big chunks of accounts before, but I've never been very aggressive in the markets, and that has led me to never really blow an account. It's just by default, I've always been risking fairly small sizes of my account, and that's just my nature. It's nothing spectacular. It's just my nature as a trader and as a person, really. But the best way to, well, at least speed up the journey of profitability is to, number one, stop trading live accounts or accounts in general, because if you don't have the edge plus the experience to trade, then most likely you will end up losing your account and you're just giving away free money to the market, really. So my biggest advice would be to stop trading and prioritize back testing. Back testing won't solve all your problems in terms like emotional or mindset or stuff in that department, but in terms of refining a strategy and knowing exactly when to buy and sell based on that strategy, and of course knowing your metrics as well, potential win rate, risk to reward, and just generally know where you want to buy and sell, what you're looking from the market. Back testing will definitely help with that. The more trades you back test, the more amount of trades you can back test, the more data you can go through, the better. I think a big advice would be at least go through at least 1,000 trades back tested, which sounds like a lot, but in retrospect, it isn't really. But it will give you a lot of confidence going forward. So get that under your belt first, and then you can start potentially demo trading. And then if you want to later, if you gain some confidence, you can start to add live capital again to your accounts. But I would just stop trading, stop the bleeding, and go back to the drawing board. Simonello, Gospel Nick has finally convinced you that technicals alone are not enough. What do you mean technicals alone are not enough? Do you mean technicals as in you need fundamentals as well? I mean, if you're talking about like mindset and experience, then of course 100%. But there's traders that have made billions from technical analysis alone. So I think they would argue otherwise. But again, with trading, there's more than one way to trade: technical analysis, fundamental analysis, both sentiment analysis, mathematics, mechanical trading. There's so many different ways. Even some people look at lunar cycles. to trade as well. So there's more than one way to trade. There is no correct way, which is the beauty of it as well. As long as you're focused on having an edge in the market, whatever that edge is, then that is the way to trade, really. I don't really like it when people try and take sides, or this is better, that is better. It's wasting your time, really, to be honest. Um, we can do USD. Now, I'll take a look at lights, and I'll just go through the yen pairs first, and then I'll take a look at your pair afterwards. Okay, so let's go through some of the yen pairs. So euro yen, again, not looking great, to be honest, at all. Not looking great. Again, actually, on the higher time frames, it is looking great. Higher time frames, it is looking really nice. Really, really nice in terms of the massive head and shoulder pattern, in terms of where we're located. I think there's a really big move to the downside to be had with euro yen. However, we're at support. I'm just kind of biding our time right now. So I'm still bearish. However, the only two options I have to short this one is either we push away from support, form another lower high like we've been doing. We formed a really nice one over there, second one there. Potentially could form a third one and get the drop. So that would be my interest there with euro yen, as in that would be the place I'd want to position myself short. Or, of course, we make the break of the support level, and then I start speaking about some shorts there on the retest and some more downsides. So those are the only two options I really have with euro yen right now. Like I said, I'm still very bearish on this one, so I'm not really interested in the longs. I know we're at some major support right now, and perhaps we could see a nice bounce, but that's just something I'm not really interested in right now. And quite frankly, the price action on the lower time frames has been not great, to be honest. Again, if you drop right down, there probably would have been some nice shorts off the high there. Perhaps we might get pushed back into support now. This looks like a bit of a fake out to the upside, but then again, it's just been very, very corrective. So low time frames hasn't been great, and quite frankly, 4 hour hasn't been either. But like I said, I'm still very bearish on this one, expecting a big break. I either want price to pull away so I can find some shorts to get a trade back down into support, or we break through, and then at least I've got that level to my back, so then I can use it as resistance again, or maybe find a retest somewhere else. But at least I'm not shorting directly into a major daily level there. So yeah, that's really what my take is on euro yen. Hasn't really developed much, but I'm still very bearish on the pair. I do expect a lot more downside. Yeah, of course, fundamentals can give you understanding of market direction. Many things can give you understanding of market direction. A moving average can give you understanding of market direction as well. Again, like I said, there's more than one way to trade, and some of the most profitable traders have very, very contrasting styles of trading. So just by looking at the biggest trades in the world, you can understand that there's more than one way to trade. But again, whatever floats your boat. No problem, Ferragamo. Happy to help. Yep, that's a good way of looking at it as well, LFTJ. Yeah, yeah, using a small live account to grow and trade, it can help you practice discipline with the live capital. But again, the key thing is that you know what you're doing, because having a live account and trading it and managing risk is all great and all, but you need to know what you're doing in terms of your edge. Whatever the edge is, but you need to have that understood well first before you do get to that stage. Otherwise, you're just going to be a very risk managed, um, you know, um, trader with no edge, which is just going to lose you money eventually, just in a very slow way. So you need to make sure you got the edge first, which is why back testing is important. But then, of course, having a live account to practice that side of things is important as well. Okay, let's take a look at dollar yen next. So dollar yen expecting a lot more downside as well. Of course, USD weakness has given this one a bit of a kickstart, and we're approaching support again. Like I've said, I'm expecting this support level to break, and I'm expecting a lot more downside. I do think we can push back into support here on the left at 140.761. That is where I'm expecting dollar yen to head towards in the long run. However, we've got some support to break through first. But again, just like euro yen, don't want to be shorting directly into support. See if we pull away, which I was hoping we could see a bit more upside yesterday, but unfortunately, we didn't quite see that. I was looking for us to come into this trend line area. Nice little range there as well, which we just about kind of tested anyway. I was hoping we can push a little bit higher, test the trend line, and then perhaps look for the lower high to form and ride that back into lows. But maybe the lower high is already formed and we're already ready to break. If that's the case, then let's actually break through support then. And then I'll be looking at opportunities to take some trades below it, because again, I've got the green light, price is broken through support. Now it's going to be flipped to resistance. Perhaps that could be a great place to find a retest from. Again, it depends on the break of structure, how big the break is, the momentum of the market, whether I do look for the retest of that level. But that could be an opportunity which I do entertain. And of course, targets, whether we form that next low would be a reasonable target, but then longer term, expecting a push back into the low there. So very bearish on dollar yen, but we're trading into support, so now's not the time to be looking to short. If you're looking to buy, again, it's a nice place for it. You perhaps could catch a bit of a reaction there, but I'm expecting the shorts to be the bigger move. So that's where my focus is aligned with there. So very bearish there on dollar yen. CHF JPY. This one hasn't really done much. I think CHF being a little bit strong has made it a bit awkward for Swiss yen. Again, likewise, I'm still expecting a big break to the downside with this one as well. But yen hasn't really been that strong. It has been strong, but nothing crazy. For these yen pairs to really fall and really see some bearish momentum, yen has to be very strong, which we haven't quite seen yet. So I'm kind of still waiting on that. But like I said, for Swiss yen, still kind of trading at support as well. So similar to dollar yen, similar to euro yen, both trading at some key support, which I expect to break. But as I've said, shorting directly into support is not really my aim here. I want to see price break through that, and then we can look at something like this. We pull away, form another lower high higher up, and then we push back down. That's what I'm looking at there for Swiss franc, but still very bearish on this one. Just don't really have an opportunity since we're just sideways at support right now. Not much to report on there. Aussie yen, I really like this one to the downside as well. Again, this was very bearish as well yesterday. Likewise with New Zealand yen. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We do have some really key levels of support just above us here. So looking to see if we can pull back into this area, retest that high, and then get the follow through. Aussie yen, I'm looking for us to take out the swing low here at 90.1. Massive support down the left, which I'm expecting us to take out. You can see overall the trend looks like it is shifting. So this becomes the next major target. And especially with that momentum there, the likeliness is that we continue to fall back to 95. And that would be a nice place to short, even potentially retest the low there as well if the pullback is slightly bigger than anticipated. But again, the idea is to find that next lower high and try and find a short somewhere else. But again, very, very bearish on the yen pairs, and I do expect to see a lot more downside. Just can I get that pullback for them, especially Aussie, New Zealand, because Aussie and New Zealand yen have been bearish in particular because of Aussie and New Zealand dollar themselves. The currencies have been pretty weak, so we've seen some nice sells for them. So those have my attention, whereas euro yen, pound yen, not quite. CAD yen, in fairness, has been pretty weak as well. CAD itself has been a pretty weak currency as of late. So it looks like this one's starting to pick up the momentum as well. Again, looking for this wick low to be taken out. So yeah, I need to see a bit of a pullback for me to get into a position here. Again, it might be a little bit too big of a pullback I'm asking for. That's the only way I see myself getting a trade here. maybe coming back to retest that prior low. So I think Aussie yen and New Zealand yen are probably the ones I'll focus on a bit more. But yeah, same idea, expecting a lot more downside and expecting us to break the lows. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. I'll take a look at the yen basket as well. Then I'll go through USD RUB. Then I'll go through gold, US 30, NAS as well for Alex. Well, for Agams, that answers that really depends on your situation, depends on your finances, where you're living, and what you're looking to trade with. Really, in terms of what you want your trading for. Do you want it to be full-time income? Do you want it to be a part-time income? And in terms of just starting trading, well, a lot of brokers do allow you to start trading with $100, some even $50 as well. Although I probably wouldn't recommend to do that because your risk management wouldn't really be very in tune to the account size. The smallest trade you'll be able to take, you probably won't be risking an appropriate amount of your capital. So I would again, to start trading, like I said, I'll probably say at least $100, but it really depends on your situation. Can we buy CAD yen now for TP of 105.5? Like I said, I'm very bearish on CAD yen, so I'm expecting a lot more downside back into 101.6. But yes, we could see some upside. It's just not a trade I'll look to take myself. Again, like I said, I'm not going to say, okay, the market is going to go there because, of course, I don't know that with certainty. All I can do is map out opportunities that have favorable odds of playing out. And I'm looking for a push into the swing low. If I can get pulled back into that level here, that would be a nice short to take. You're looking for a push back into 105.5, which is more or less where I'm looking to sell from. Again, I'm not looking to buy it there. I'm just looking to sell when it gets there. I think with CAD Gen, the push I'm looking for to short it is, I wouldn't say has a high probability of seeing that move. Therefore, it's not a trade I'll take. I'll probably argue that we've got a great chance of just selling off rather than seeing that pullback. So I probably wouldn't try and take a long there. To be honest, I'll only be focusing on the shorts. That's where momentum lies. So yeah, it's a nice little level coming into, but personally, I would stay away. Yes, we'll take a look at gold as well. LFTJ, yes, you will have to pay profit, pay tax for any profit, any income, any personal income. You would have to pay tax on. Okay, so let me go through USD RUB. Let me know what you're looking to do with this one, with the Russian. Okay, the last time I looked at this one was back in 2023. Funny enough. Anyway, so since I've last had a look, we've done a lot of trading, more or less. Yeah, I'm not too sure why you're looking at this one. It's not the best market to trade because an exotic pair, I don't think conditions will be good in terms of trading it. I bet the swap is going to be a bit of a pain as well if you're going to hold it overnight. I would say it's coming back into a nice place for a buy though. I would like the buys there 84. Looking at this one overall, it is still very much a bullish trend. So I would be interested in the buys there. In terms of targets, I wouldn't try and take it too far. The fact that we had a very aggressive push down is not an indication that the trend is relatively healthy. So I wouldn't be looking to try and push us too far. I think a push to that area would be a fairly big target. I'll probably consider the highs here on the left as targets for the trade. So something like this would look nice back into 94 and probably call it a day there. Of course, this is a bit more of a swing trade in the daily chart. Let me drop lower. I think if you look in the 4-hour chart, you might still catch nice sells. This is a nice little range here. Probably could test that area, but like I said, conditions aren't great. So Personally, I would stay away from trading a market as choppy as this. To be honest, look at that price action; that is horrendous. Yeah, it's going nowhere slowly. But yeah, I would look at something like that, and then, like I said, a bounce at this low to look to kind of follow that overall trend to the upside. But I bet the trading conditions on this wouldn't be great. Okay, so next we'll go through gold, take a look at US 30 and NAS as well. Yes, we'll go through pound yen, dollar yen. Good morning. Regina, hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Emmanuel, yes, we'll go for New Zealand CAD as well. When I was to look at it last, I thought it would be interesting to know how technicals are playing. The spread is meant. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It's not a pair to trade at all. I would not advise trading that in the slightest, intraday or even swing, unless you're trying to play the swaps in your favor. Then of course I can get that, but other than that, I wouldn't touch it. Anyway, where was I? So gold. So yeah, as I said, gold has had a pretty impressive recovery this week, looking pretty impulsive to the upside. So I would actually be expecting a bit more upside now for gold. Because in fairness, coming into the week, I was looking for downside, but because the pullback has been so impulsive, strong push to the downside, followed by a very strong push back up again, this kind of V-shaped pattern typically resembles more upside. If price was likely to have that sell, I would expect this bullish move to be a lot more corrective, a lot slower before we do continue. The fact that we've had a really strong push to the upside, especially in the last 4-hour candle, I'm expecting more upside going forward. And of course, take into consideration just how bullish gold is in general. The fact that we're still very much in a bullish market. You always have to be careful if you're looking to take shorts in these conditions. So as I said, on the lower time frames, I think probably if you drop to the 15, you probably have a better opportunity at refining that entry and maximizing the risk reward. But I would be looking at something like this intraday for gold. Strong move to the upside, expecting more of the same. Lovely consolidation here. This is where we broke to the upside with a lot of momentum. So if price was to come back and revisit, there's a good chance we could bounce and, of course, see that continuation. Perhaps you might want to target the highs as well if you feel very confident, at least to push back to where we came from. So let's say if we do pull back from here, then naturally targets back to the high would make a lot of sense. But because of gold's situation we're in, I wouldn't be surprised if we just push back to the all-time highs as well. But for now, this looks like a nice opportunity for gold intraday. I don't really have a swing opportunity on my on the cards just yet. Okay, so let's take a look at US 30 and NAS as well. So US 30 did a bit of a sell yesterday, very aggressive move to the downside. I was talking about some shorts around here. I wasn't very confident in terms of how far I expected the move to happen because we had such a strong rejection of support recently. In fairness, we didn't even quite see enough to actually test the area for the sell. But really strong move to the downside. Looks like price is now back at support again. I wanted to see if price is going to hold on to this or we do turn around. We did leave a big wick there yesterday as price is still rejecting support. But I have to admit, with the momentum seen now, it does look like potentially you could see a bit more downside here for for US 30, sorry. Yeah, I do think we can see a bit more downside now. I know price is still technically holding support, but the aggressiveness of this move tells me that the sellers are still very much in control of the market, or at least still trying to push price further down. So I think shorts actually still look pretty good. But one key thing is we do need to break through the support level. And perhaps pullbacks afterwards could look good on the lower time frames and can ride that momentum to the downside. There's major support down here. That could be a nice target, but I will kind of see how we look once we get the breakout. Because again, don't want to be too aggressive with the shorts. Still a relatively bullish market in the higher time frames. US 30, so being careful of that. But I do like the shorts here. Of course, the key thing is we do need to break support first because we don't be shorting directly into that level. But yeah, very aggressive move. Market has been pretty consistent with these lower highs now. So if this continues, expecting more of the same and a push back into support. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting such an aggressive move yesterday. I was looking for price to come back into this level, maybe a bit of a brief test, and then we try and push through. But since we had such an aggressive move, it does look like the bears are still in control. So if we can clear support, there's a good chance we do see more downside there. In terms of NAS 100, this one again, strong push to the downside as well. It looks like price is trying to break through some key support on the daily chart, or more or less has. And a break of this would put me very bearish for NAS. A break of this would put me very bearish for this one, to be honest. Again, not very bearish, as I'm expecting a huge drop, but if we do clear support here, I will be expecting a lower high to form and another push down. It might just be a longer term correction for us to keep pushing to the upside. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do have a more meaningful correction. There's our last major high of the market. I wonder if we come closer to get a retest of that. Of course, we can save that discussion for another day. But like I said, all NAS has done, in fairness, is just respect the highs and respect the lows. And now it looks like price is trying to commit through that. So if NAS does break support here, I would be very bearish. If we have a really sharp recovery, so we see a strong bullish engulfing candle coming back up there on the 4-hour chart, then okay, the buys are very much back on, and that will be a great entry signal for a buy. Because it looks like we're trying to pinch the low, but should we reject it, then this move is very much back on and possibly higher as well. So I'll still watch out for the buys. I wouldn't say it's a clean break just yet, but if we were to redeem it, I think the buys look great. If we do continue falling this afternoon, then that's a breakout on my cards, and more downside would be my best bet. So yeah, I would wait for a bit more downside, like US 30 as well, a bit more downside. That will cement the buys to me. Then yeah, more shorts afterwards. That would be my expectation. Okay, so I will take a look at US 30, US 30, sorry, pound yen, US 30 in the brain, pound yen and dollar yen as well. Quickly, we'll go for New Zealand CAD as well. For arms, enter the sell in Euro Aussie 1.68. Okay, we'll take a look at that too. Okay, so in terms of pound yen, as I said, very bearish on this pair. I'll take a look at the yen basket afterwards as well. Very bearish from pound yen, expecting a pretty big drop for this one, but we have been very slow. This is the destination I have for pound yen, at least for the next few days, few weeks, maybe a couple months, depends how, if we pick up the pace a little bit, but that's the direction I'm looking to trade in. So like I've said, for a lot of the yen pairs, I don't want to trade directly into support. A lot of them are just trading long support right now, pound yen included. It's either we push away from another major lower high, like we've been doing, one over there, second over there, perhaps a third, and that would be my trade opportunity. Or we just go and break through support and then look for some smaller pullbacks below that and trade it back into the low. Either which way, I'm not directly trading into an area where price seems to be having a especially hard time trying to break through. So yeah, like I said, the direction for pound yen for me is very bearish. Again, it looks like we're having the reversal of this trend. I'm looking at the continuation of that drop in July. So this is my expectation. So yeah, drop into the 4-hour chart. Just need to see that break, and hopefully it could come in the next few days, and we can speak about something like this. That would be my opportunity. But otherwise, don't want to be shorting directly into support. Again, if you're in the lower time frames, you can get away with it because you'll be taking smaller trades, smaller targets with smaller stop losses, so you can take advantage of some moves back into support. But of course, with me, I'll be trading directly into that level on the 4-hour chart. So waiting for something like this over the next few days. In terms of dollar yen, it's kind of the same situation as well. I'm expecting a really big break to the downside for dollar yen. A push back into the low here at 140.761. So that's really where I'm expecting price to push towards. However, got to be patient because as we can see, we've still got really important support running through the market there. So it's either dollar yen has, again, another retracement, which I'm not too sure we will, but again, never say never. So potentially we might see that happen. We've been very, very consistent with this trend line here, connecting the dots, keeping up these lower highs. So the plan is to see a next one, and then that will be my trade, because at least I'm further away from support, so I can at least probably take some profit at the low first. rather than shorting directly into the level, or we just go and break through, and then hopefully I can find some retest on the underside and then take the shorts at least back into the prior low. But as I said, I do expect us to go a lot further. We've got major support below us, which I do expect dollar yen to trade towards. So very, very bearish here for dollar yen. Looks like the weakness on the DXY, the weakness of USD itself is helping out the shorts here. And just need to see if we can get that continuation. But yeah, dollar yen, just need to see that break, similar to pound yen as well. Then looking at some continuations there back to the lows. So that's pretty much where I'm at with dollar yen as well. We'll go through New Zealand CAD next, and then we'll take a look at Euro Aussie. Again, any requests, just drop it down in the chat and I will take a look. What is up, Lordo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Anton, 148 to 144 to go. UJ, 148 is there. 144 is there. Yeah, I'm looking at a similar move. I'm personally looking at 140 pretty much. So I'm seeing a lot more downside. Lowest projection, 138. That'll be here-ish. I think we can go even further, to be honest, but let's just wait and see, because we've still got a long way to go, even to get to 145. So we can speak of that at a later date. But yeah, I do have a similar bias on dollar yen. So yeah, New Zealand CAD's been a bit awkward. I'm still very bearish on this one, looking at a lot more downside for New Zealand CAD as well. Yeah, this is my target for New Zealand CAD, back to the wick low. Again, if I zoom out very quickly, just look at the overall direction for the market. New Zealand CAD has been very, very consistent with all these lower highs here. And I'm looking for that to continue with this lower high there too. So the probability of us getting back to this low is pretty high. And eventually this low is pretty high as well. So because of that, I've been very, very short bias, especially when we had the break of this structure here, where the break of that structure not long ago. So since then, I've been looking at us having that push back into support and perhaps further as well. It's just been awkward in terms of finding entries, because we're kind of just a little bit choppy now. So in terms of getting good entry, I would wait to see if we can push back to resistance, because that's where you can get a safe stop loss. Trying to enter some trades here is just a little bit difficult in terms of the stop loss. It's not in a relatively safe area, so the odds of you getting wicked out and the scene price moving your direction is just a lot higher versus when you're up here. Again, not that you will be immune to getting wicked out, but at least you have a much more significant level to base a trade from. It means it's a bit harder for the market to kind of fake you out, and if you do, you can always re-enter the trade as well. Whereas here it's kind of just in the middle of a range, which is always very awkward. But this is the move I'm expecting for New Zealand CAD, push back into support. So let's see if we get that move. Perhaps we do sell off from here, but I don't think that's just a really great area to be shorting New Zealand CAD from. I never really want to be looking to enter trades in the middle of a range and place my stop losses there. It's just by default always going to be a tricky area to trade in. And in terms of Euro Aussie, so that's not Euro Aussie. Let's spell that again. There we go. So in terms of Euro Aussie, this one, again, really big move to the upside. I'm actually pretty bullish on Euro Aussie. I do think we can go a little bit further to the upside. I'm looking at 1.7, really, really big level just above us on the daily chart, because essentially all Euro Aussie's been doing is just moving sideways. This is a ranging market that hasn't gone anywhere for a while. And of course, with this exceptional move to the upside, there's been a lot of momentum in the market, and we've broken, in fairness, a really significant level of resistance. So now I would expect us to get to the next level, which is 1.7. So I'm pretty bullish on this one. I said some pullbacks do look good, especially with all that momentum. If you could have like a slow correction, that would be nice to really illustrate to us that this is really the momentum and this is just a pullback for us to keep going. That would be really nice. But yeah, I'll be looking at a retest of 1.68, which is kind of the highs here on the 4-hour chart. I have also marked on the daily level here on the left, just underneath, really nice resistance. I've drawn that level across. We might see a slightly deeper correction to test that level, but the targets are the same, back to 1.7 up there. So yeah, Euro Aussie very, very bullish on this one, expecting more upside. Euro Aussie, Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Pound Aussie. Those kind of four kind of similar crosses have just been very bullish. And in fairness, that they are hitting some areas where we could reverse from, but in Euro Aussie case, we're not quite there yet. We're kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. We've just seen a recent break of structure. Now I expect us to hit the next level, and perhaps maybe we sell off from there. So yeah, in terms of the shorts, you said you're going for a sell at 1.68950. Where is that? 68950. Okay, so around about the current price, and then take profit 1.67 down here somewhere. So yeah, not bad. There are some obstacles in your way there where I would watch out. 1.68 is one of them. You know, this level here, that could be very tricky because we could bounce from there. But yeah, I would be pretty bullish on your Aussie. I can see the market stretch. We're likely to retrace, so I can see trying to take advantage of that. But since we've broken through some major structure, especially on the daily chart, I do think more upside is likely. However, I do agree. I do think we'll retrace first. But that's the direction I want to trade in, back to resistance. Then perhaps maybe from there, like I said, maybe we do get the big sell from there and see price turn around. But looking at like Pound Aussie, because Pound Aussie, in fairness, is creating new highs. So this one I expect to retrace more than Euro Aussie. So I'm expecting Pound to be a bit weaker. In fairness, Pound has been so strong the past few days anyway. So I think some weakness for Pound is a bit overdue, to be honest. But you can see Pound Aussie has been flying to the upside, but this one's taking out some major highs. Looks like we're pushing back into resistance there on the left there. So I feel like this one could probably retrace pretty soon. Again, still bullish though, however. We're still trending to the upside, so probably we'll do something like this and just push on. If I take a look at Pound NZD, which has been very, very bullish. Again, this one's taking out some prior highs as well, so I think we're due a bit of a pullback. Still a bullish market, however. So I'm not looking at anything crazy, but I do think we can see some downside. And of course, you got your lovely Euro NZD as well, which I think took out major highs yesterday as well. Past that point. So again, it's still a very bullish market, which is still pushing pretty hard. But again, since we're taking out some major highs on the left, this one is due a bit of a correction as well. And the tricky thing with trading, the tricky thing with trying to trade corrections as well is because the market can always push a little bit higher or a little bit lower before it does correct. So it's always very difficult to try and take those trades. And of course, you can say the exact same with pullbacks. We can always pull back a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But the difference with pullbacks is that the momentum in the market in general is in the direction you're looking to trade in. For example, if the market is trending this way and we're correcting, of course, we could always correct a little bit higher, and that could take your stop loss before falling. But at least you know momentum's in your direction. So the chance of us kind of falling in your favor at any given point really is just a lot higher than price suddenly going against you. Because if the trend's going to continue, then you're expecting us to eventually push to the lows. When you're trying to take advantage of these moves, which is true again, the market is stretched, is forming new lows, we're likely to retrace now. But because momentum isn't in your favor, we could always push a little bit further down before that retracement happens. So you're just naturally up against it a little bit more than when you are taking pullbacks. But the concept is the same. You know, the market always can push a little bit higher, a little bit lower. But at least when you're in favor of momentum, you've at least got that natural kind of confluence to your trade rather than against it, which is why I mostly look to take pullbacks. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the crosses. I'm not really interested in them myself. Maybe if they pull back well, maybe next week some point there might be some nice buys. But I'm expecting some retracement. But again, they've been bullish on the higher time frame, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see another couple of days of bullishness before that retracement comes. Exactly where they will trace from, because I'm looking to the left. We haven't been at these levels for a while, so it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where we're going to retrace from, especially looking at pairs like Pound NZD. Even though I expect retracement, it's difficult to say where it can happen. We could easily see another bullish day and price keep pushing. Major pairs only consider. Okay, you only trade major pairs. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I think major pairs are good markets to trade as well. some people don't like trading the minor pairs, and for good reasons. Spreads are not as good. They're a bit more choppier sometimes a bit slower, and sometimes a bit faster as well. So that can be something to consider as well. But if you're going to be trading intraday, especially like 5 minute or below, I think the major pairs are probably the best, just in terms of the market conditions and in terms of less erratic behavior. If you're trading like Aussie CAD in the 5 minute chart, again, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than trading Euro USD, for example, just because it's going to be less erratic, and especially in the lower time frames where you do see more fluctuation. It probably will help your win rate a little bit. Yeah, pound has been strong as well. I do expect to see it kind of relax, although euro pound I'm still pretty bearish on, in fairness. I'm still looking for a push back to the low here. It looks like euro is trying to have a bit of a comeback here, but I still do see more downside for this one in general. We're coming for perhaps another retest of this zone. I do expect to see price eventually have that follow through. So euro pound, I am bearish until at least we get back to 0.82228, which is the low here. Again, looking at the overall direction for this market on the daily chart, it's been exceptionally bearish, lower high after lower high after lower high. So in my book, there's a good chance that we continue to do that, especially looking at the 4-hour chart as well. Very consistent with the lower highs here too. So I'm just expecting more of the same. Nice kind of trend line connecting the points there as well. Perhaps we come back to retest that trend line there too. So for euro pound, if you're looking to trade this one, I'll probably drop to maybe like even the 30-minute chart really for a trade, just to get my risk to be refined. So something like this, nice rejection of that level, that could be a nice entry. It targets more or less back at the low here. And if you're trying to push trade a little bit further, you do have the lows there as well. And the likelihood of us getting there, I would say, is pretty high. Naturally, the trend has a high chance of continuing. And the odds of us suddenly putting a higher low to reverse here are a lot slimmer than the odds of us just going to take out the lows. So euro pound, I would still imagine a bit more downside, which would still mean a little bit more strength for pound, a little bit more weakness for euro. But perhaps once we do test the lows there, maybe we do see an end to that, and maybe price changes direction. But pound has been pretty strong. Pound has been pretty strong. Of course, you can just see across the board, pound pairs have been absolutely flying, and it's been difficult to short it. But in fairness, I've been looking to try and long pound mostly. Pound USD has been a big interest of mine, but it looks like I've kind of missed the boat with that. With pound USD kind of pushed to the upside yesterday pretty aggressively. But I have hopped into dollar CAD. So when I'm looking to buy pound USD, I'm not necessarily looking to buy pound. I'm more looking to kind of sell USD. When I'm trading the USD major pairs, my focus is most of the time based on just USD. And then it's kind of just picking the best currency pair to trade it with. USD CAD at this point in time has given me a nice pullback on this one. I think USD CAD is probably the only USD pair which hasn't really seen some downside, or at least seen USD weakness, just because CAD has been so weak. But CAD pairs have hit some heights, have hit some levels where I do think CAD pairs can turn around. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, I'm expecting them to continue down. Euro CAD and Pound CAD have both hit some big levels as well, where I do expect them to kind of have a bit of a reaction. So hopefully that can play into my favor. But dollar CAD, I like the price action. We've had a nice retracement. It's been pretty aggressive, so I've been a bit cautious about shorting this one. But since we had a really solid rejection as we came back into the high, this is where we had the big gap to the upside a few weeks back, and then we had that really aggressive sell. Now price is back in the same area, and we respected it well. So I've got my stop loss just above the high. We've had a relatively healthy pullback. I'm looking to see if we can form that first major lower high to push back into the lows. Perhaps we can go further, but I'm going to play it safe with this position. No need to try and shoot for the moon every single time. Some trades will make sense to push further, like my Aussie CHF position. which I finally closed most of my profit now at that low there, which is at 0.556. I've taken most of my profit. I'm leaving about 20% to run back to the low here. This is a trade which I would push far. Reason being, if I zoom out to the higher time frames, we can all clearly see that the trend has been very much to the downside for this one. So the odds and the probabilities of us continuing down is pretty high and eventually coming back to those lows there. We've been trending to the downside aggressively since March 2021. It's now March 2025, so a good solid 4 years we've been bleeding. And of course, the trend actually goes a lot further back than that, but recently we've seen a relatively nice trend here. So the odds of Aussie CHF continuing is pretty high, and I do expect us to eventually come back to the lows. But because it's a bit more of a choppy pair, it consolidates a lot. I'm paying negative swaps as well. That's the reason why I'm not holding the full position back down to the low. More than happy for trade back into the support there, which was a pretty good position. It was roughly around the 2.8, so I booked most of the profits there. We'll see what we can get with the rest. But of the dollar CAD position, this isn't coming from a long-standing bearish trend. If I zoom out for this one on the weekly chart, the reason why I like the shorts is because we're coming from a major weekly resistance, but there is no kind of real trend I'm looking to follow here with dollar CAD. So it's more of a reaction I'm expecting rather than a continuation of a trend. So I'm being less aggressive with targets and a bit more conservative in general. But it's come back to a nice area, had a solid rejection, and we'll see how that gets going. But hopefully we'll see price take out the lows there. But we've got a long way to go for that. Yeah, that is true, Afonso. CAD has been affected big time because of that. And of course, CAD has been dropping hard. But I'm hoping that kind of slows down a little bit. Hoping that slows down a bit, and then USD kind of takes charge, and then of course USD CAD will see that move. But of course, I can't guarantee that. If CAD stays weak and stays under pressure, then of course that will probably mess up my trade a little bit. But we'll see. I appreciate that, Lauder. I appreciate that, Lauder. Quick peek again at GJ again. No worries, then I have to apologize. So yeah, as I said for pound yen, still very bearish on this one, but I need to see price drop, and then I'll be looking to short it. We've got previous low highs there in the market, and I'm simply just looking to catch the next one. So keeping it relatively simple. The only thing with pound yen, which has been a bit annoying, is just how slow we've been. Haven't really seen much momentum, so it's made things just a bit boring, to be honest, with pound yen. But if we were to break the low aggressively, like we did over here, really nice break of support. That gives me confidence that will likely continue, even over here as well. I'm kind of waiting for something similar to get the break, and then hopefully I can find the next pullback and then short it back into the lows and so on and so forth. And that will be the plan there for pound yen. But there's nothing really for me to do right now with pound yen other than just watch it and just keep a close eye. On the other hand, as well, if we do have suddenly a really big retracement, I'll keep a close eye on that too, because we form these major highs here. I'm looking to see potentially if we can form a next one, and that could end up being a nice short back down again as well. So see either pound yen flies to the upside, we put another major high in, and then I short that, or we kind of just continue in this in this bear structure here. I find something later on, but either way, I'm still very much focused on the shorts here. So that is how I'm looking to play it. I still haven't looked at the yen basket. I'll go quickly take a look at that. Okay, 5-minute time frame. Okay, I will jump to the 5-minute. So the 5-minute time frame. Okay, looks like we're bleeding here. So yeah, on the 5-minute chart, I said I really like the price action that we had yesterday. Really strong impulse to the upside versus a very strong impulse back down again. This to me looks like a massive fake out. Sending people the wrong way. And it would have been really nice to catch a retest of this area. Solid resistance yesterday or the day before. That wasn't the day before. That was Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night was the day before. I thought it was Wednesday today. So yeah, really solid resistance. That would be a nice place to short again. Place a nice stop loss above the high and potentially catch the fall. At the moment, we're coming back into support right now, which could be a nice place to buy, but I do expect it to break because this pattern here resembles a really strong head and shoulder pattern. Left, head, right shoulder. Of course, you got your lovely neckline here. I'm expecting that to break and see the continuation back into support at 187.8. So for pound yen, I'm pretty bearish on actually. There might be another correction to keep an eye on. So let's say if we break to the downside, there might be something like this, maybe New York session or maybe early tomorrow. And that could be a nice short, maybe in the afternoon or like I said, tomorrow. But this is the direction and the targets I would have for pound yen on the 5-minute. 188.651 safe sell stop. Let's mark that on the chart. 188.651. Excuse me. So more or less in that area. And where would your stop loss be? Because that will be important too. I mean, I was assume maybe your stop loss is probably, let's say, around there-ish, maybe. Because you want to give yourself a little bit of room because, markets are not perfect. When we do come back for retest, very rarely you would see price kind of, pinpoint a retest to the pip. Sometimes you do kind of slightly break above and maybe wick above a little bit as well. So you want to kind of account for that as well, give yourself some buffer room. But yeah, I would say it's relatively safe because at that point you've broken through. The thing is, we could also leave a big wick and then pull back up, which makes things very awkward, which is why I don't really like to take sell stops or buy stops. I always use market execution. I don't trade breakouts either. I always look for retest, but if I was to trade a breakout, I would short on the candle close because at least I've got the confirmation that we've actually legitimately broken through that support level or the resistance level, and we're likely to continue, just like we're doing right now, leaving behind a big wick makes things a bit awkward. So yeah, I think it's a safe enough distance, but with entering on live candlesticks, you always run the risk of a wick forming. I don't want to scare you out of taking the trade though. If that's something you look to take, then of course look to take it. But yeah, as long as you have a relatively solid stop loss, I would say around the 188.996 area. It doesn't have to be there specifically, but more or less in that area, I think that's relatively safe. And targets back of the low make a lot of sense as well. So I do like that position. I would just wait personally for the candle to close. 189.682. 189.682. Okay, so that's okay, all the way over there. Okay, so yeah, that's a nice stop loss. Nice stop loss. Of course, it skews the risk reward up a little bit. I'd imagine where's your targets for the trade as well, Lighton? But yeah, I think you've given yourself a lot of room there. I probably would say almost too much room if I'm being completely honest. But again, it's just my thinking out loud. Just because the idea of having the stealth stops below here is that market is breaking through support, and now you're expecting the continuation. Of course, the wider you give yourself the stop loss, the more room you have in case you do something like this and come back down. So you give yourself that possibility. But the whole idea with a sell stop below a level is that you're anticipating a breakout and the continuation of momentum. So if price was to hit your sell stop and break back in, that's something you don't want to really see happen anyway. So at that point, I would want to close that trade and wait for us to do it again potentially, or at that point we might push up. So I would, if I was to take the trade, I would have my stop a lot closer. I'll still give myself some room, but probably around there-ish. I would have the stop loss because I don't want to see price break in. If it does break in, then the idea of my trade has kind of failed already. To be honest, like I said, I don't want to talk you out of it, but I just think the stop loss being that big kind of skews your risk to reward up. And the trade idea is kind of already invalidated if we do break and then come back inside. I want to close it at that point. But yeah, like I said, that's just my take on it. Um, Raphael, yes, we can take a look at dollar CHF. We'll take a look at that for you, no problem. First target 187, and like the wicks. Thought I stay away from the wicks if it breaks below by running a small lot. Really, okay, yeah. And again, it's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah, I don't want to talk you into taking a trade which you're not comfortable with taking. Doesn't make any sense there. I'm just explaining my reasoning of why I would put the stop loss there. But yeah, the wicks are all over the place right now. But yeah, like I said, if price does make that breakout, then the whole idea is that we want price to keep that breakout going. We want that momentum to stay. If that momentum suddenly goes, then it's a trade that probably isn't going to head in our direction anymore. But your target's 187.018, so pretty much okay. So you're looking at a pretty big move down here. Again, target's a little bit sticky as well because there's some major support on our left here around. Okay, so okay. So you're looking for the low here, more or less. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just the breakout. Um, yeah, I'll probably be looking at some first targets a little bit before that. But I would also be looking to target the wick as well. But that would probably be my second target for the trade. I'm probably looking at this area first. But again, that's just me being picky. But altogether, if you get a break of that support in the 5-minute chart, you expect that momentum to continue. If the next candle is engulfing bullish, go for a buy 20 pips. Okay, looking for a buy there, Dark Sean. Okay, wait. Oh, okay, I read it wrong. 20 pips stop loss, 70 to 100 pips target. I thought it said stop loss 70 to 100 pips there. I was a bit confused. But yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's at a nice support level. I'm expecting it to break, but it could very much bounce. I mean, if it continues the ranging, it will continue to bounce. To be honest, but yeah, I'm looking for pound yen to clear that. You might, of course, bounce first before that happens, but that's the move I'm kind of interested in there for pound gem. Sort of refining the setup on the 5 minutes, really hourly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of expected that. Yeah, nothing wrong, of course, refining setups as well. It's just the key thing that you want to keep into consideration is that if the setup's like on the hourly chart in your situation and you're refining on the 5-minute, always be aware that you're still kind of trading the 5-minute first before you trade the hourly. So you have to respect what the 5-minute is doing as well. Because what some people do is you have a bias on whatever time frame. Or use your situation. Just for example's sake, you find a nice setup on the hourly chart, you drop all the way down to the 5-minute or whatever time frame, and you kind of forget that you're actually trading the 5-minute before the hourly. You have to pay respect to that smaller time frame first. The setup on the hourly is your bias, the targets you're expecting price to get to. So that is very true. But if you're going to drop to the 5-minute chart, make sure you're paying respect to the price action on the 5-minute, because that's what's going to make or break the trade. If the 5-minute is not quite aligned, it's going to hit your stop loss. So remember to pay a lot of respect to the chart you're trading, just as much to the chart you've got the bias on as well, or the setup on. Okay, let's go take a look at dollar CHF. Dollar CHF. Okay, yeah, we're extremely bearish for dollar CHF. I was actually hoping for a little bit more upside because I was looking to short this one as well. I was debating between dollar CHF and dollar CAD for shorts, but the market kind of picked itself for me. Dollar CAD picked itself for me because dollar CHF just didn't quite see enough retracement into that area of confluence. I was looking for price to come a little bit higher yesterday, come back and test 0.904. That was my area of confluence. You had lovely swings in the market with a high over there, the low, the lower high. Oh, missed it. Lower high, lower low. I was looking for another lower high in this area. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen. And we've already seen a really aggressive drop in the past kind of 24 hours. And looks like we're clearing supports there. Raphael, which low are you talking about? You say, can dollar CHF hit the lows again? Let me know which lows you're talking about, because I thought you were talking about these lows, and we've actually taken out those lows there. Unless you're talking about the lows here potentially. If you're talking about the daily lows, let me know. Could we get there again? Yes, we very much could get there. Again, looking at the higher time frames, if the market is going to respect this high, then there's a pretty good chance we get back to support, because that's all we've been doing for the past how many weeks, months, years potentially. All prices be doing is respecting the high, push down, respect the high, push down, respect the high, perhaps another push back down again. So betting on a move back down there is actually a pretty reasonable expectation really for dollar CHF, especially if DXY is going to reverse as well, which day by day is looking a little bit more likely as time passes. We've tried to break through the highs there. We're sort of breaking back underneath. I'm not surprised if DXY does go for a bit of a reversal here. And if the DXY does that, then that will give dollar CHF the green light to see that real that's a really big sell-off back to support again. So yeah, the possibility of us coming back to those lows, I would say, are pretty high. We're going to have to break out of this range for that not to happen, I would say. At the moment in time, it doesn't look like we're going to get that breakout. So missed out on opportunities there for dollar CHF. But like I said, I've hopped into dollar CAD, so we'll see how that will play out. There's similar trades. The main thing I'm looking to do is short USD here. Of course, with dollar CAD's been very weak as well, so that's going to be an interesting situation. I'm kind of expecting CAD to kind of cool off a little bit because it's been so weak for a while. But the setups fit the bias well. This is what I've been looking for. We had a really strong rejection this morning, so we'll see if that continues to fall. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help, my man. Dark Sean, nice doji candle, waiting for the next one to see if there's an entry confirmation. Let's have a look, see. Okay, yeah, I see the doji there. So yeah, price is clearly respecting support pretty well right now. 1 wick, 2 wicks there. Of course, this candle here is about to close in 20 seconds. And the funny thing is, it could actually give you a pretty strong close in the next 20 seconds. That's how volatile the market can be, especially for pound yen. But if we close another doji, all that kind of represents is that price is just still finding support here, which, of course, as a buyer, that's what you want to see. Hopefully, the next candle afterwards will give you that follow through. So yeah, it did close, but it did leave a pretty big wick to the upside. So I'll probably wait for another candle there before taking that buy. Yeah, I like my bullish engulfing candles to have minimal wick. It doesn't have to have no wick, but the less the wick, the better. The fact that we've had a bit of a wick there to the upside is a sign that, okay, we tried to push, but we didn't quite have the strength to maintain. Another candle pushing through would be nice to see. But yeah, still holding support at least. I like the piercing wicks. That's a key element to the rejection as well. So yeah, I would wait for probably another candle to close before taking that position. Technically is a bullish engulfing candle because it did engulf the prior body of the last candle. So technically is a bullish engulfing candle. But I wouldn't say it's the best one. That's all. What do I think of USD CAD? Well, I'm pretty bearish. Okay, wait for the next one. Yeah, I would as well. Yeah, I'm pretty bearish on dollar CADs. So bearish that I'm actually shorting the pair. I've hopped into a short this morning, literally just before I hopped into the stream. It was on this kind of close here on the 4-hour chart, stop loss above the high, looking for a swing into the low there. We'll see how this one plays out. The idea behind the trades, I'm looking to short USD. I've been pretty bearish on the dollar. I've actually kind of missed the move I was looking to. Oh, would you look at that? DXY is dropping like it's hot right now. That is an aggressive move. That just shows you how weak CAD is as well, because USD has been absolutely melting, but dollar CAD has barely budged. So kind of hoping CAD will budge soon to actually let this one do its thing, but we'll see if that actually happens. But anyway, dollar, I've been looking at a lot more downside. It looks like we're trying to break through support now, and this would be the next level. I would expect price to get to 105.6. If we clear that, then I'm actually expecting a lot more downside now for the dollar, because it looks like we've kind of manipulated the highs here. We've tried to break out. The momentum wasn't quite there, and now we're trading back within the high. So that to me is a bit more of a bearish signal. And if we keep going, break lows as well, then yeah, I'm just expecting us to trend back to the downside. And I wouldn't be surprised really if we come back all the way to 100. So it's looking really bearish for the dollar. And dollar CAD at the moment is kind of the only USD pair that's actually giving me a good opportunity to trade it. Pound USD didn't quite set up. Dollar CHF, as I just pointed out, just missed my level. But yeah, the DXY I'm pretty bearish on. But yeah, dollar CAD's come back to a nice area, back into some solid resistance on the left here. Again, this is where we kind of manipulated. Big gap to the upside. That would have taken out a lot of orders above the high here. Probably sucked some buyers in at the top. Really aggressive sell-off. And now we've had a relatively strong retracement. I like how we formed the high there. We had one last really aggressive buy there to the upside, which again might have sucked some buyers in, and now potentially could flush the downside as well. And it's been a relatively healthy retracement back into 0.5, almost 0.618. And the key thing about dollar CAD, which I like the short as well, is where we're coming from. Really, really big resistance once, twice, and now potentially a third time. The two previous rejections from this area has given us massive moves. If I was to measure that, both of them have given us 2,500 pips moves each from those areas. I'm not necessarily looking to trade it all the way back down there, but it's nice to see a level give you such a reaction. So, anyone who was long-term buying dollar CAD probably is going to be taking their profits at the high here. Anyone who wants to short dollar CAD long-term is probably positioning himself short right now. And that could involve a lot of the bigger players in the market as well. So hopefully that action of profit taking, sellers jumping in, especially with the bigger players, that perhaps could send dollar CAD to the downside again. And hopefully I can profit from that. But we will see. A long way to go. GU, okay, we'll take a look at pound USD. So yeah, like I said, pound USD just missed my level. Well, didn't really just missed it. It missed it by quite some distance. But this was really where I said I was looking to long dollar CAD from 1.25. Not dollar CAD, sorry, pound USD. Got dollar CAD on the brain. Really solid support once, twice, and resistance a couple of times there as well. So this was a really nice area of confluence. You had the trend line 1, 2, 3. So looking for the fourth. So that's what I was looking to long from, but unfortunately, no pullback into that area. And now it looks like price is taking up the highs there too. So the next destination for pound USD would be the high here, of course, 1.28. This is actually our last major high, which gave us this push, and now it looks like price is just working its way back to that area. So I don't really see an opportunity here for pound, to be honest, at least on the 4-hour chart anyway, because the pullback is kind of gone now. So yeah, the train's left the station. I think maybe if you should drop lower time frames, maybe if you see another push, could perhaps look something like this, like another retest of the consolidation. That might be a nice trade, maybe tomorrow sometime for a more of an intraday pullback. But that's kind of the best I can kind of see there for pound, really. You know, the pullback kind of happened at the start of the week, and we're flying since then. So yeah, something like that could look good, perhaps maybe tomorrow. But yeah, in terms of the next destination for pound, likely to be the high here. We'll see how price reacts. But yeah, very bullish on pound. And like I said, very bearish on dollar. So all these USD pairs, USD majors that I'm going through, naturally I'm going to have that bias. Doesn't mean they all give good setups and good trading opportunities, but naturally I'm going to have that bias with USD pairs. Afonso, GU close 25 pips, AU close 35 pips, small intraday trades, both long, nice. Taking advantage of that USD weakness right now. So yeah, congrats on those moves. Aussie, to be fair, has been, of course, Aussie dollar has been really bearish. So this one's had a really strong move down. I was originally looking to long this one last week. Didn't see any confirmation, so stayed out of the way. Perhaps maybe we're forming a higher low now. Don't really have any confidence there, so it's not a trade I'll take at all, to be honest. But we're having a hard time breaking through some support here at 0.62. Perhaps we do continue to push, but I think AU is still a little bit strong right now. Aussie dollar is still a little bit strong. Likewise with NZD USD as well. So these guys going to need some energy to push, but we'll see what happens. USD looks really bearish to me, and as long as DXY keeps falling, then these USD pairs are going to have a struggle to keep going lower. But yeah, it's a nice reaction. Let me have a look at gold and silver. Because, of course, with USD being weak, what does that mean? That means gold's probably going to be strong. And we could probably see some more upside. So, yeah, that kind of fits into the picture as well with this V-shaped price action here as well. Like I said, correction, more upside is likely the move. We might not even see that correction, to be honest. I think it's still, might not even see that correction. But it does look like gold has tried to sell off, but essentially failed, and that momentum is now back bullish again. I won't be surprised if gold does push back to 29.54. Silver, I still do have a bearish bias for, because we're still below major daily resistance. My kind of outlook on silver is pretty simple, to be honest. As long as price is below this, I'm bearish. As price breaks through this, I'm bullish, and I'll be targeting the high here. So if we get to see something like this in the next few days, I'm going to be very bullish on the pair, looking at pullbacks and buys into the high. If we continue to reject this level, then I'm going to be looking at a major push back into low. So pretty straightforward there in terms of what I'm looking to do, being bullish or bearish. As I said, because we're still currently below the level, it means I'm bearish on silver. But of course, me kind of using my brain a little bit, understanding that dollar is looking pretty weak. It might continue being weak for a while. Gold looks like that's pretty trying to push back to all-time highs. Yeah, based on the correlations of those markets, maybe silver is going to push to the upside, but I still need those technicals to align with that first, which would be, like I said, a big break of the resistance. And then now I can be looking at some pullbacks afterwards. And of course, I'll be looking at the 4-hour chart for that, but I need price to be above that area in the first place. So perhaps maybe silver is going to get bullish again, but first things first, let's break resistance. Then we can start talking about taking price to 34.8 again. But the opportunity is not quite there yet. So I'll be keeping a very, very close eye. But for me right now, going to keep an eye on dollar CAD and, of course, Aussie CHF. Those are both my positions. I don't have any other positions beside them. So that's really where my attention lies. Dollar CAD shorts and Aussie CHF shorts as well. Aussie CHF, the trade's pretty much over. I've already taken most of my profit at the low. I've just got a very small percentage running back into the low there. There's nothing really for me to do apart from just keep an eye. I will be trailing as well. I'm not going to give the trade the full room to pull back against me there. It doesn't really make too much sense. So I will be trailing the stop loss too. In terms of the other pairs I'm looking at, not really looking at any other USD pairs. I'm just going to focus on dollar CAD. I want to double my risk on USD, especially with NFP on Friday, Friday this week. So not trying to double the risk there. Yen, however, I do have a few pairs I'm liking. So Aussie yen pullbacks look really good. Hopefully we can see some pullbacks into that area there. We'll see if that happens or not. I kind of got a feeling that we might just keep dropping, but that is really where my attention is focused. New Zealand yen, I like this one a lot as well. Being a really strong drop. I'm looking for a pullback into this area to keep shorting. And dollar yen I like as well, but we need to break through the support first before I can start looking to sell. But looks like we might be doing that sooner than expected. So going to keep a close eye on something like this as well for dollar yen. And that's really where my focus is. Crosses, not too focused on. CAD pairs, not too focused on. Other CHF pairs, yeah, not too focused on, to be honest. Just trying to see if I can get into a yen trade now. But we'll see how that gets going. Anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out the channel. I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. Subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do go and check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can join discussions there. I share ideas there, what I'm looking to trade. Other people do as well. So you can join discussions, chat with other traders, share your setups or your opinions of what you're looking to do. And of course, you can find out a lot more information about Elevating Trades there as well if you are interested. Interested in checking it out. So check it out, link description below, and also at the top of the chat. You definitely can't miss it. Appreciate that, Lighton. Appreciate that. So yeah, guys, drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel as well. It does really help out if you join the streams. Like I said, I do really appreciate that. But guys, I will be live again tomorrow. I'm live every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the channel. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi, and talk charts with us. Yeah, have a good day, guys. I'll catch you all in the next stream. Take care.